Hey, DC Wright-Hammer here. This year I became a reader, and that might sound strange coming from a grown man who's been an indie author and published 2 books, but something interesting happened actually today when I finished reading a book, and I really feel like I've become a reader. Let me explain. So I finally read Bits and Pieces in its entirety and reviewed it. This is by Hosmer. She's a fellow indie author whom I've had the pleasure of meeting. Wonderful person, wonderful author. And I got done reading it and I went to go give it a review, and I saw that a sequel is coming out next month, actually, in September of 2021. And for the first time, pretty much in my reading life, I was excited for another book to come out. Going back to even junior high, high school, reading was always a chore. It was something that I felt I needed to do, or something that was assigned to me to do. It was not something that I had done just for pleasure, just for fun. And so I probably read 40 or 50 novels in my life, but this year I really decided I'm only going to read what I feel like reading and what I want to read. So I did plow through the 5 books in A Song of Ice and Fire, just to say that I've read them, but they're obviously really good. I read just some other random books. I finally reread both of my novels for the first time in like 4 years. But then I got to Bits and Pieces by Dawn, and it was a really good book. Gave it a good review, and I saw that a sequel was coming out, and I know it's been a few years since this one has come out. She's published a few books since, and I was just excited. I'm like, I'm absolutely gonna buy that and read that one and review it too. And so that's where I'm at. I quickly jumped into a new book, and while I'm waiting for the sequel to Bits and Pieces to come out. And I'm already 100 pages into that. That's faster than I normally read. It is a good book. I won't name it. It's a major publisher, but it's a good book. Reading that really fast, and I'm finally sort of settling into calling myself a reader for pleasure, for hobby, and not because I feel like I have to read. I mean, because it was bad. I'd look for excuses not to read a book. I don't like the cover, because we do judge books by their cover. The first page or the first chapter or whatever, oh, this is slow. I look for excuses, like I make excuses, to the detriment of myself and to the detriment of the author who put in all the work and effort. That doesn't mean we have to read everything under the sun, and that doesn't mean there aren't bad books out there, but let's be honest. A lot of times we just aren't in the right mood to read, and we blame it on external factors. And that's okay. It's okay to say now's not a good time. Nothing against this book or this author, but I'm going to put it down for now. I may get back to it, I may not. That's the other side of it too. And I think that's important as readers, that we understand that it is a commitment to read a book. It's more than just micro content that we can scroll on our phones and get a quick hit and move on. You got to get invested in the story. You got to get invested in the characters. You've got to kind of really follow through on reading hundreds of pages in a lot of cases, and that is a commitment that should not be taken for granted. And I think as indie authors, we need to keep that in mind too, that readers do have to commit to our work, and so we do have to put out good, solid writing that's well edited, that makes sense, and not take any single reader for granted, any reviewer for granted, even if we don't agree with their assessments. It does take a commitment to set aside life and time, and to get in that to be read pile, to get to the top of that, and to be the next one on the list to be read, and then someone actually following through with that, and they're reading your book and life is going on. They're not reading it in a vacuum. Things are frustrating them at their job, their family's giving them headaches, they've got a big deadline that they have to meet and things like that. And so if your book can find its way into a reader's hands and they can actually get through it, it's something special. So there you go. I feel like I'm a reader now, and maybe others are feeling like they read out of obligation. Just really think hard about why you do that and see if you can overcome that by just starting to read the things you want to read when you want to read them, and see where that gets you. Hope you enjoy the content I've been putting out recently. If you do, hit the subscribe button down below, give this video a thumbs up, and I will catch you all next time.